a treat today. This empowering program will encourage you to step into your God-given power, access your leadership, and allow your voice and the voice of so many others to be heard. In today's Take Your Power Back show, your news and the Peace of Heaven Project, we'll be speaking with your news founder, Sam Anthony, and Peace of Heaven Project Ambassador, Sharleta Bassett, and Pastor Dave Bryan. These freedom-loving patriots are bringing you the real news on healing trafficked children and so much more. So stay tuned. We're going to take a moment to thank our sponsors who make the Take Your Power Back show possible and keep freedom alive. And when we return, our first segment up is with Sharleta Bassett and Pastor Dave Bryan from the Peace of Heaven Project. Boom. All right, I heard the music, and we're live.
When I started MyPillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, with the help of my dedicated employees, we now have hundreds of products, some you might not even know about. To get the word out, we're having a $25 extravaganza. 2-pack multi-use MyPillows, $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. And for the first time ever, our 6-pack towel sets, you guessed it, just $25. Our brand new 4-pack dish towels, $25. And I've never done this before. Premium MyPillows with all new Giza fabric, any size, any loft level, even king size for only $25. And there's so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code for our $25 extravaganza. Order $75 and over. Your entire order ships absolutely free.
I love Mike Lindell. Now, here's the deal. We are in the midst of economic warfare where you're spending your money, you're voting. So I want you to ask yourself today, where are you spending your money? Are you spending your money purchasing products from Johnson & Johnson, Colgate and Palmolive, Unilever, Coca-Cola? I gotta tell you, whether you like it or not only are you supporting BlackRock and Vanguard, but you're also tapping into products that have parabens, alcohol, sulfates, triclosan, quaternary disinfectants. Those are poisons. Your skin is the biggest organ in your body. What's on your skin within 26 seconds hits your bloodstream. I made the switch 19 years ago. I took my power back from the big box retailers and switched to a Patriot American manufacturer, the best of science and nature. So if you want to be healthier, if you want to take your health back, if you're ready to turn the lights on and take your power back in the midst of economic warfare, go to patriotsmade.com/Kim. That's patriotsmade.com/Kim, and I will personally work with you for a virtual tour. That way you can tap into patriotsmade.com/Kim. Now, last night I came in from Florida. We beat the storm, but I got to tell you, God released the storm. Thank God for Category 1. Here's the deal. When I came back, I had a plate of never ever hormoned or antibiotic or Zeranol black label beef sitting before me. My kids welcomed me in with the most amazing dinner. Here's the deal. When you eat steak, you want it to be great, right? So the way to get it is to get it where it's not hormoned and it's not antibiotic and it doesn't have Zeranol. So I want you guys to access freedomsteaksnow.com/Kim. That's freedomsteaksnow.com/Kim. The best ribeyes, filet mignon you will ever eat. freedomsteaksnow.com/Kim. Okay, we just came back from the Rainbow Bridge. We broke bread, prayed together, and declared and prepared the people with the resources, the strategies, and the tools on the Rainbow Bridge and our summit in New York in Canada for Take Our Border Back. It was absolutely extraordinary. You can find it on our Twitter pages and on Rumble. But here's the deal. we're ready for the next round. The next round is Arizona and Mexico. We're breaking bread together with Mexico and Arizona. This event has moved online. We know right now that there's lots going on across the country, and we wanted to bring you all the information, all the resources and tools right here. You can access our live stream at rumble.com/take our border back/live. That's rumble.com/take our border back/live. That's October 19th. And we've got speakers from across the country equipping you, as well as J.J. Carroll. If you haven't seen the movie, What is Treason? #trafficked. You have got to see it. JJ will be with us as well. We'll have a showing, and the event starts at 11 a.m. in the morning and goes to 9 p.m. at night. Details to follow. Go to takeourborderback.com for all details. And to help support the Take Our Border Back movement, go to givesendgo.com/take our border back. We need your support. This is about giving power back to we the people. That's givesendgo.com/take our border back. Now back to the Take Your Power Back show. Welcome back to the Take Your Power Back show, guys. I am so excited. In the house today, we have an incredible lineup. These warriors have been standing in truth in the midst of censorship, in the midst of adversity. They're the kind of people you want in your foxhole. With us today for your news and the Peace of Heaven Project, our first segment is Sharleta, Bassett, and Pastor Dave. I'm going to bring them into the room in just a second, but let me give you a little bit of a taste of what you're going to get today. I want you to understand the shocking statistics when it comes to child trafficking. It is an absolutely sick, horrendous crime that tragically represents the end of childhood. Some of you may have a difficult time hearing some of the information presented. If the past is still there for you, where you have gone through your own trauma, my encouragement is to bring that into the space right now and to believe that there is power in healing. As we take a stand for these children, just like someone taking a stand for you, this is where God begins the healing. I want you to understand that child trafficking represents the exploitation of both boys and girls who are usually targeted for sexual exploitation and forced labor. The shocking statistics reveal that human trafficking is the fastest growing organized crime activity in the U.S. Estimated that 250,000 children per year are victims of sex trafficking. Worldwide, there are nearly 50 million people who are impacted by human trafficking on a yearly basis. Absolutely sick, you guys. Of those, 27%, more than 1 in 4, is a child. 2/3 of these child victims are girls. That's over 12 million children who are impacted by trafficking yearly, with about 87% of those children being sexually exploited through commercial sex and forced marriage. I'll tell you what, we thought slavery was of the past. This is the greatest time of slavery, and we are called to rescue the oppressed. Let's actually play that video before we bring in Sharleta and Pastor Dave, giving you a little taste of the peace of heaven.
My name is Pastor Dave Bryan, pastor of the Church of Glad Tidings and the Embassy of Heaven in Northern California. We're just a few miles north of our facility in Yuba City at a minimum security women's prison called the Leo Chesney Center. This prison was shut down about 8 years ago due to California politics. But we have in our heart a vision to salvage this facility and to use it for what I think is one of the most virtuous, the most godly, the most noble projects that any of us could be involved in. We would like to repurpose the Leo Chesney Center from a women's prison to a refuge for formerly sex-trafficked kids. We want to call it the Peace of Heaven Children's Paradise. We want to take this facility, which is ample in its space. There's classrooms and gyms and there's workshops, and there's dormitories, and there's a huge cafeteria and a library, so many things. We would like to transform this facility into a place where we can take literally hundreds of kids that are rescued out of sex trafficking. We can give them a safe place to grow, a safe place to heal, a safe place to be educated and to be brought up in what the Bible calls the training and the admonition of the Lord, the virtues that make a solid citizen, the virtues that will guarantee that their lives will go from the dismal and dark place that they've experienced as trafficked children into the champions of God that God originally intended and ordained for them to be. Child trafficking is an international tragedy. It's the largest criminal enterprise on the face of the earth. To remedy a tragedy of that proportion, we need everyone to network together and say, we can do this together. It's a much bigger project, a much bigger assignment than the Church of Glad Tidings can handle on its own. But we're willing to be the tip of the spear. We need you to partner with us. We need you to go to peaceofheaven.life. Again, peaceofheaven.life. Fill out the questionnaire there to let us know how you might be able to help in a redemptive enterprise like this. Fill that out. Also, there's a donate button. We need immediately $4 million to purchase this facility, in addition to millions more, to turn it from a prison into a paradise and to fit it to be a wonderful refuge for these children that causes all the passersby to wish, I wish that I could be in that place. I want a parent to say, I wish our kids could visit inside there. I want kids to say, I wish I could become a part of the peace of heaven. We want this to be a model throughout all the earth of a peace of heaven in the earth, a place that is a fulfillment of the words of Christ when he said to his disciples, pray that the kingdom of heaven would be established in the earth. We believe we can do this, but we need your help. So go to peaceofheaven.life. Let us know how you can contribute to making this prison into a paradise for rescued kids. Together, we can accomplish it. Share this link with your friends. Tell other people that you know about this glorious vision. And remember, it will take all of our hard work to convert this vision into a reality. We're willing to put our heart into it. We're asking you to do the same thing. God bless you. Thank you for your participation in Peace of Heaven, Children's Paradise.
So good. So good. Good tidings, Pastor David Bryan. And we've got Sharleta Bassett with us. Let's bring them into the house. What a vision. Taking a prison and creating a safe space for the children. You guys, the timing of this is incredible. And Pastor Dave, you hit the nail on the head when you said we have got to come together. That's exactly what this is. Okay, so Sharleta, we got to hear a little bit from Pastor Dave, and we're going to hear more, but how on earth did you get involved in this? You have been a mayor. You've run for U.S. Senate. You are a mover and a shaker. I've seen you with President Trump. You too, Pastor Dave. Both of you guys, how did you land here and why right now?
You know, we have got a heart for the children, and the more and more that I talk to friends like General Flynn and Ann Vanderstill and Doc Pete Chambers, they are seeing on the ground that this is beyond a humanitarian crisis. This is the biggest problem that we have in the United States. It's actually global. And the children that are being trafficked, the Child Protective Services, which is CPS for people in other states, they are admitting to 325,000 children that are missing. That means that there probably are more. President Trump has talked at rallies and said the likelihood that these children are not even alive is so high. And I just pray all the time. And I ask the Lord, how could that possibly be true? And we're in an election that will make or break the United States. They want to tear us down and break us up so they can have their 15-minute cities. And I truly believe that the witchcraft and the evil that is being perpetrated by the missing children, they are sacrificing these children to secure something that is unholy. And the United States belongs to Jesus. It does not belong to any satanic cult. It doesn't belong to these traffickers. And I want to let the cartel know you are put on notice. Look over your back because we're coming for you for taking the babies. My mother was trafficked, and I have a heart for the broken. And I know long-term effects of what happens to a person when they've been trafficked. And she was trafficked by her father. And we actually had children rescued off the San Francisco Bay. You heard nothing about that. And the hard facts are that the children had Sharpie marks on them. There was 807. There were also children that had already been killed on barge. And on the babies and the children were marks that said organs, labor, or sex.
How on earth can this be allowed in this? I mean, you would think that we as humans are so advanced,
Yes.
and this is why we at Take Our Border Back have been fighting to close that border and bring to light what's happening with human trafficking. We have teams that go out and rescue children. And do you know, Sharleta, Pastor Dave, sometimes they don't have a place to put those children or the funding. So the fact that you two, your teams have created a space that God has opened up the door here is incredible. And Sharleta, I am so sorry to hear how your mom was trafficked, but isn't it funny how Satan throws something your way, but God will use it for his good. God will turn it around. Just like a prison. When you think of a prison, I mean, I got to tell you, Pastor Dave, my heart goes, oh God, a prison. Oh, dark and dungy. But then I saw that video and I'm like, oh, hello, prison.
Yeah.
Tell me about that, Pastor Dave. Tell me about, how you got involved in this and what you see possible right now and how we're going to get those children to you.
Okay. So let's start with how I got involved. I've been pastoring here with my wife, Cheryl, at the Church of Glad Tidings for 38 years now.
Wow.
And 38 years ago, we adopted a ministry motto that is very simple and it's very Christian. It's just find a need and meet it, find a hurt and heal it. And just outside the door here, we have it written in bold letters on the wall, find a need and meet it, find a hurt and heal it. So that really has characterized the Church of Glad Tidings for now almost 40 years. But that's what we do. We pray into the needs of the community, the people in the community. Obviously, there are needs in the church. But let me just say this for anyone who's a churchgoer that's out there. The job of the church is not necessarily to sing kumbaya behind stained glass and hope for a better life for yourself. The job of the church is to rescue the perishing. And we've honestly done a very poor job of that in America because our churches are myopic and self-serving. And so in most churches, sadly, really broken people aren't welcome. They want them to go somewhere else, like the Church of Glad Tidings, for instance, and get fixed. And then when they're fixed and the wheels are back on the wagon, they'll take them, But anyway, so we've always done that. We've done programs like Babies Out of Bondage, and we've helped in the juvenile halls, and we have drug rehabilitation centers. And so this broke like a storm on us here in the last year. But I was debriefing someone who was a Special Forces Navy SEAL. And just the right of the confessional, they're able to come in and unburden their soul. And he was just really bewailing the condition in the world where children are being exploited. And in his case, he had just nearly gotten stepped down from his spot for beating up a Catholic priest that was involved in child trafficking. And he was just so angry. How could you betray them? And so he was just kind of unburdening his soul. But in that process, I thought back 20 years ago to a young man that was in our house. He'd come out of prison, and we were helping to debrief him and the renewing of the mind and all that. And he had mentioned that the reason he wanted to kill his father and his uncle is because they trafficked him out of a barge between San Francisco and Oakland. And he said, any father that will laugh while people sodomize his little boy doesn't deserve to live, which, by the way, Kim, I agree with. But in any event, this boy was deeply broken and troubled and suicidal because of what had happened to him. So now, segue 20 years later, I'm talking to this Navy SEAL, and I have this saying, Kim, I know God's talking to me when I think thoughts that are smarter than I am. And I was just sitting there talking to him, and suddenly I remembered this story. And I said, hey, have you had any experience, or have you heard of other SEAL teams that got involved in barges floating on the water between San Francisco and Oakland? He hadn't. He'd never heard of that. I told him the story that I just told you. And he said, you think that boy is telling the truth? I said, of course he's telling the truth. No 21-year-old boy makes stuff up like that about himself. He clearly was telling the truth. He was willing to give his life for it. And so we went on to talking about other things that special operators deal with. But the next morning I was in appointments in my office, and this Navy SEAL kept calling. And when I got a chance, I called him back because I knew it was urgent. He had called 6 or 7 times. And I said, what's up? He said, well, on behalf of 807 children that were rescued at first light this morning from a barge on the waters between Oakland and San Francisco, I want to thank you. You saved a lot of lives. Well, obviously, I just was able to furnish some information. Wow. But he said as soon as we left our lunch appointment, I scrambled some SEALs on both sides of the water, and we found the barge. And so first light this morning, we raided it. He said there were 807 kids. He told us about the marks that Sharleta mentioned to you. Told us about the putrefying bodies of some who had either died of abuse or they had just discarded the carcass after they had harvested an organ. Just the worst kind of evil. And so we were very thankful, and we thanked the Lord. And, you know, I told the story, which of course the news didn't tell, but in any event, I got a call from Child Protective Services after that, and they wanted to know where those kids were. And I don't know if they listened to our broadcast or somebody was in the church. I don't know how they came across that. I'll guarantee the Navy didn't tell them. But anyway, so the long and short of it, Kim, is that within a few days, Child Protective Services of California claimed those kids, and they went back into the system. And remember, they're going back into the system without even having names.
Oh, yeah.
But they're not coming out of the system. They're not even being recorded in the system. What's happening to them is they're being trafficked again, and they're being used to make money on the black market.
Yeah.
And so I was so heartbroken. I wept, and you know, it's so wrong to think about that.
That's right.
But this Navy, he was a vice admiral, and he said, Dave, I know you have a good heart. I know you want to help. If you really want to help, you have to find us a place for these kids to go.
Yes.
He said, we can rescue them all day, but there's simply no place to take them. And so we started praying into it and you know, turning over stones. We found The Leo Chesney Center is exactly 5 miles from our church property. We inquired with them. They wanted 17 million. We whittled them down to 4 million. And
Hallelujah.
yeah, yeah. And so that's what we're doing. We have now, just a very short time. We have till the end of the month to raise the $4 million. When we have that, Kim, we still need to raise probably another 8 or 10 million to refurbish it, because like you said, I don't want the kids to go from one kind of prison to another kind of prison. I want that place to be so magnificent and so beautiful that kids stand on the outside and wish they could figure out how to get in.
That's right.
And
It's a space of healing. Okay, Pastor Dave, give us the link. I want people to understand how important this is right now. We're about to see in our lifetime an exposing of all that's been hidden. Yes. These children are going to be brought out of the dark into the light. They need a place to go. It's our responsibility. So, Pastor Dave, where can we send them?
Well, everybody go to peaceofheaven.life. That's peace like the in the 70s, right? It's not like piece of pie, like peace, baby. It's like the peace of heaven. Peaceofheaven.life.
Yes.
And there you can sign up to help us with the practical needs. And let me just say this, Kim. We have been helping people that have come out of satanic ritual abuse and MK Ultra and all kinds of stuff for many, many years. So we fully know what a huge project this is. We know that we need a virtual army of doctors and nurses and moms and grandmas and grandpas. And these kids really, really need godly male role models because they have been so exploited. And of course, a child's concept of God comes to him from the male role models in his life. And so they've been so deeply damaged, but we literally need hundreds and hundreds of people. We will carefully vet them and make sure that we have the best of the best, which again, we've had decades of doing that. And then again, we are doing a fundraiser this Saturday. And we're really excited.
I am so excited to be a part of that.
I am so excited that you are a part of it, Kim.
So let's talk about that. So this Saturday, give us the details. That way people can attend.
This Saturday, we're going to start at noon, and we're going to go to around 8.
12 to 8.
Yeah, that's Pacific Mountain Time, starting at noon, going till about 8 that night. If we're on a roll, we might go to 9. Who knows? But anyway,
that's right.
We are trying to take the old concept of the give-a-thon that used to be on a television channel. And if you happen to come across the channel, you can call in. But we have a wonderful man. He's here in the studio, and he likes to stay on the other side of the camera. But Sabash Sil had, I think, a brilliant idea. And he said, let's do the same idea, but use all social media and see how big of a network coverage we can create. And we think we can get several million people with all of the different media platforms and people like you, that you have your own platform. And we have some wonderful people that are coming on that have huge media platforms. And so we're going to get the word out. And think about this, if we were able to cast the vision to 1 million people, if everybody gave $1, it would go a long ways.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, really, if you just gave what you have to spend,
exactly.
Right. Just gave what you have to spend at a burger joint, we would have plenty of money.
Exactly. So, Pastor Dave, how can people access that this Saturday?
Okay. So, Sabash, is there anything that you provided for them, or shall they just go to Peace of Heaven and access it there? That's the best way to do it. Go to peaceofheaven.life.
Peaceofheaven.life to access. So good. And, I want to share something really quick before we finish this segment, because I love what you guys are doing. I am so excited. Our teams and Take Our Border Back that rescue children, this has been an answer to our prayers. It's one of the things that's been heavy on our heart.
Yep.
So one of the things I want to talk to you, I want to speak to all of our listeners right now. If you are someone who has been trafficked, or you have a family member or a brother or a sister, someone that's been trafficked, or maybe you have been molested in some way, do not let this steer you away. If you feel it feels heavy and it's like, I don't want to deal with it, it's like, la, 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 let me tell you, when you deal with it, when you truly put the past in the past, God will powerfully use you. I am one of those people like Sharleta's mom. My situation was a little bit different. It happened in my home. And, and that's another story for another time. But I'm going to tell you, God is a healer. As you step out. And I didn't want to step out. I didn't want to step out because I didn't want to deal with my own junk. And it felt so heavy. But let me tell you, your mess becomes your message. Your pain becomes your purpose and your testimony. Yes, Sharleta. So Sharleta, I'm going to finish with you before we close this segment. Your call to action for the people in this time, right before elections, because the choices we make right now will make all the difference for these children.
100%. And people need to understand that we are God-fearing, loving people. And it's not about church. It's about saving people from evil, pure evil. And by doing that, we are going to be able to hold these babies and let them know they did nothing wrong, and let them know they're worthy, and give them a life, and teach them schooling, and help train them and raise them up to be healthy human beings, that they can have a life beyond themselves. And people need to understand that we have to step into this together, because we do need a place. The military said they could fill our facility up with 1,000 children a month. That tells you how astronomical this is. And if you don't understand, let's go a little bit further. If we do not save the children, there will be no life beyond ourselves. There'll be no future for us. They are our future. We have got to heal them, make them strong, and make them capable human beings to stand up for what's right, and know that the United States is formed in the name of God. And we are going to bind together as people that love each other and stand up and fight for the innocent that have no voice for themselves, and be a voice.
That's exactly what we're going to do. Pastor Dave, thank you so much. And Sharleta, thank you so much. I just love you guys. I love what you're doing. Guys, we have got to support. I want you guys to go to peaceofheaven.life. That's peace, like peace, peaceofheaven.life. Go and give $1, $10, $5. Stop the Starbucks. Send it here. Support the children. And if you're someone that wants to be a part of something so big and rescuing these children and bringing healing, then reach out again to peaceofheaven.life. You'll go through a vetting process. It is worth it. Not only is this for the children's healing, it is for your healing too. Bless you guys. We are going to be in contact. I'm going to see you Saturday, and you guys want to be with us on Saturday.
Awesome.
At peaceofheaven.life. Pastor Sharleta, I love you guys. God bless
love you too.
Thank you.
Come on.
Thank you, Kim. God bless you.
Jesus is the Prince of Peace, guys. Thank you. I am so excited about today, because not only did we get to hear from these warriors, we are about to hear from your news, Sam Anthony. He is the founder. Let me tell you, he shakes things up, and he is not afraid to share and print and show you, we the people, the truth. When we come back in just a moment from thanking our sponsors, we've got Sam Anthony in the house for the Peace of Heaven Project and your news. Here we go. Are you ready to take our elections back? It's time. Join the national Take Your Power Back Expose Voter Fraud Initiative. We are working with leaders across the country, and we're taking our power back on a local level. Join the team today. You've got Dr. Douglas G. Frank. You've got Tina Peters. You've got the Constitutional Sheriff's Peace Officer Association. Go to takeyourpowerbackshow.com. Our mission is to awaken the people by educating and empowering them to step into their God-given power and to partner together, canvass their counties, expose voter fraud, and hold their elected officials accountable to stopping the machine. We move to paper vote, and then your voice is heard. Join the National Take Your Power Back Expose Voter Fraud Initiative today. Go to takeyourpowerbackshow.com. That's takeyourpowerbackshow.com.
Hey, stop what you're doing. Are you frustrated because you feel like you're not performing at the level that you know you're absolutely capable of? Are you feeling anxious and not taking action because of fear? Are you sick and tired of feeling stuck? Then this program is a fit for you. Hi, I'm Kim Yeater, peak performance coach, and I've had well over 25 years of coaching sessions with high performers just like you who want to take their life and their performance to the next level. I've created a step-by-step process that takes you from A to Z, from our self-assessment strategy roadmap to our breakthrough release blueprint. I've helped people from all walks of life, and I can absolutely help you. So, if you're feeling anxious, frustrated, or stuck, and you're not performing at your peak, unlock your life now and perform at your peak. Go to unlockyourlifecoach.com and set a time with me for a complimentary strategy session. Unlockyourlifecoach.com and unlock your life now.
I'm telling you, you want to know how I unlocked my life? Jesus, number one, and all the 26 years of strategies, resources, and tools brought to the table for you. These are the same tools that gave me total breakthrough. Thank you, Jesus. I know whose I am. And when you know whose you are, let me tell you, anything is possible. Even the impossible is possible. So, General Flynn. So we're transitioning right now. I want to share with you one of my favorite books. This is it, The Citizen's Guide to Fifth Generation Warfare. Guys, we are at war. So when we're talking about child trafficking, when we're talking about open borders, the bleeding over of the bigger agenda, the global agenda, Sharleta talking about 15-minute cities. Guys, we are already at war. This is fifth generation warfare, and you want to know how to deal with it. I want you guys to go to flynnmovie.com/Kim. Not only are you going to access General Flynn's movie that shows you exactly what fifth generation warfare is like because he's been through it, but it gives you the tool that you need to have in your home so that you are equipped and you can equip people around you. Go to flynnmovie.com/Kim. That's flynnmovie.com/Kim. All right, my freedom-loving patriots. Now, you heard about the Take Our Border Back Arizona and Mexico Summit. We're no longer in Yuma. We are online. Why? Because we want everybody across the entire country, as well as Canada and Mexico and Australia and the Netherlands and Switzerland. We want everybody to participate. You see, the agenda that is pushed on all of us impacts the world right now. We want to provide you with the resources, the strategies, and the tools so that we, the people, can declare our God-given sovereignty, our real freedom, and put the power back into we, the people's hand, and hold our elected officials accountable. So join us at this online event, October 19th. All the details to follow. Go to takeourborderback.com. That's takeourborderback.com. And if you would like to be one of those people that supports us, maybe you can't be with us, figure it out. Get with us. We're online for a reason. But your funding, every cent, helps support all the live events we've done. You can go to givesendgo.com/take-our-border-back. That's givesendgo.com/take-our-border-back. America, Mexico, United States. There's a reason why Canada and Mexico, USA. Let me correct that. There's a reason why we created this alliance. We all are dealing with the same things, and we are better together. So we're going to unite and declare sovereignty as nations, give power back to we the people. TakeOurBorderback.com and back to the Take Your Power Back show. All right, welcome back to all of our radio listeners in Odessa and Abilene and San Diego, California, and throughout the United States and world. Welcome to all of our live streamers today. We have our next segment with a very special guest who has come back to join us. Our show today at the Take Your Power Back show is Your News and the Peace of Heaven Project. We just had the privilege of listening in and speaking with Sharleta, Bassett, and Pastor Dave Bryan. These guys are the ambassadors of the Peace of Heaven Project. Now, the coolest thing is Sam Anthony has been listening on the back end. Sam has got so much insight to bring into this room today, and then he's going to show you how you can access real news. But let me give you the idea of who this guy is. Sam Anthony predicted 23 years ago that newspaper and magazine companies would go out of business in the face of the oncoming digital age. He launched Your News Media Group, a platform that provides credible news both locally and nationally. Deplatformed writers and podcasters maintain their freedom of speech on Your News. I'm on that platform. We love Sam Anthony. Come on, my freedom fighter. Sam Anthony, come on into the Take Your Power Back show.
Kim, how are you? Good to see you.
You know what, Sam? It's so good to see you. Now, you were just listening in on the back end of that show.
I was.
What are your thoughts? Because you don't hide anything. You bring it out. You're not afraid to put this kind of information on your news. I just love you, Sam.
Yeah, well, we get a lot of that stuff. I'm still just amazed that, there's child sex trafficking. I just don't understand it. I mean, what's the attraction to the whole thing? But apparently there is. And the amount of people that he's talking about are just crazy. I mean, I've heard Ann Vandersteel tell me many times, just how many people are in the child sex trafficking thing. And I'm blown away at it. So, it's not the business I'm in. It's not, I'm not somebody that, that goes after child sex trafficking, but I hear from people that do. And I'm amazed that industry even exists. Yeah. But I guess it's been around forever.
It's been, I'll tell you what, Sam, I'm one of those people that has been censored from sharing this kind of information. They've cut me off Facebook at times. I'm completely censored from YouTube. They've shut me down on LinkedIn. Even Salem Radio, I've been censored and canceled. Now I'm up on other platforms. God always provides a way. But because of bringing the truth into the light as to what really happens. Now, here's the coolest thing about your platform. I can take the real news, what's really happening, what Sharleta and Pastor Dave shared today, and bring that onto your platform. So let's talk a little bit about your platform and the difference it's making in this censored world right now.
Well, for your audience, Your News is an online daily newspaper. We operate in every city in the United States with the ability to target ads by zip code. We are a free speech platform. I always tell people we're not in the news business, we're in the platform business. Okay, that's the business I'm in. It's just the content we carry is news. So the closest model to me is Facebook, not because we're in the same business, but because they sell ads around user-generated content and they could do it to one zip code and everywhere in between. We could do the same thing. It's just the content's different. But here's what we consider news, Kim. Your kid's Little League game, even though it only appeals to 10 or 20 people, is news to us. So that would be sports news in your city. So if it was in Boca Raton, it would be in Boca Raton sports.
Right.
Whereas the high school football game, still sports news, but it runs to the market. So if it was the Palm Beach County market, it would run to the Palm Beach County market. If it's San Diego, it runs to San Diego sports. And then obviously we have the Thursday night football games tonight, which are going to be national news, still sports news, but it gets distributed to all zip codes. So what I am is a news content distribution platform with mega scale. We put the power of the press back in the hands of the people where it belongs, which is the most important thing. We allow the public to interact and share in the narrative locally. And then like YouTube, everybody's familiar with YouTube and they have a monetization model. And I'm guessing probably 80 or 10 or 20% of the people make about 80 or 90% of the money on YouTube because the cream rises to the top. But we have a monetization model for news reporters and audio and video content creators where they can actually share in the revenue. So what I do is inevitable, and it's ultimately going to replace the legacy media. And by the way, everybody calls it legacy media, including the legacy media. The reason they call it that is because it's not going to be in existence. I give them the average age of the cable news viewer, 70 years old. How long does the average person live to? Everybody can do their own math on that one. It's not like they're going to be sitting around waiting until the last guy's watching before they pull the plug. I mean, I give them 6-7 years max. It's all but over. What's going to replace them is going to be a platform like ours, which allows the public to interact and share in the narrative. A social, like with a social component, it'll have a monetization model where news reporters can actually make money, and a self-service ad platform where you can buy an ad and target it right down to one zip code and everywhere in between. What I do is inevitable, as I said. It's going to happen, and we're the only players in our space.
You are the only players in your space. I absolutely love it. So for me, if I want to go find out what's really going on in any part of the country, I can go to yournews.com, right? Yournews.com. If I'm someone who is a content provider, which I am, which I want to go and get my stuff up there, not only can I hit my zip code, I can hit specific zip codes. I can get it out there nationally. That's a pretty big deal, Sam. I mean, I love the fact that I don't have to worry about double checking to see if I'm censored. I mean, that is the most frustrating thing for me. So grateful that you've created this space. So let's talk about some of those people that are up on your space right now. Some of those people that have left mainstream media or legacy media and have come your way. Let's talk about that.
We've got hundreds of political podcasters. I mean, I could name a handful of them, but there's too many to remember, right? So we have hundreds of conservative political podcasts that were all kicked off of YouTube and deplatformed that submit content to us. We're multimedia, just so everybody knows. We do audio, we do video, and we also do written content. And for those of you who don't like to read, you could just hit listen. There's a button that says listen, and the computer will actually read it to you if you don't like to read while you're doing something else. But we have everybody from, you to Ann Vandersteel to people like Mark Fincham, which right? I think you had him on your.
I love him.
Yeah. So, and Mark breaks stories, and for everybody, if you don't know who he is, just look him up. He's going to be the next senator in the state of Arizona. He's one of our contributors, and he broke that story along with you about the Tennessee thing with
Sean
Taylor.
Sean Taylor of Millersville PD. Yeah, we actually, our Arizona event, Sam, our Take Our Border Back Arizona and Mexico Summit, he is one of our speakers. So he's going to be joining us online, Mark Fincham. I love Mark because he knows his stuff, and that guy has a heart for God. He has a heart for the children and a heart for truth. He is willing to stand up. So you, my friend, Sam Anthony, are attracting all the warriors in your space.
Oh, completely. And I'm going to tell the audience this. What's smart that Mark, what he's doing is he's actually has the ability to control the narrative. It's not like he's bringing it to the media and the media is crafting it the way they want. What Mark does is he puts the content out as he wants it. We publish it national for him. Then he goes on all the shows and talks about what he wrote. So they don't have the ability to control anything. This is what all the people, the freedom fighters that are running for political office should be doing. They should be controlling their own narrative and not in hopes that the legacy media is going to help them. They're not here to help.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. So Sam, what else, in regards to your news, what is it that you want the people to know? Like, we know what makes you unique. We know that you are really a one-of-a-kind platform, but there's a couple of other things that makes you guys really special and unique. And what are those things you'd like to share with us today?
There's about 500,000 people on LinkedIn that call themselves freelance journalists. And I remember 10 years ago, it wasn't even 100,000. Now it's 500. Just so you're aware, freelance means I need a job. Okay. So they're part of the downsizing of the legacy media. And my personal feeling on this, because very soon we're going to start marketing and onboarding a lot of them, is most of them are not going to survive the new world, which is the digital age. What's really going to happen is it's the next generation news reporter is really going to be we the people. It's going to be somebody who's proactive in the community. It could be you, which you already are, right? Because you're set up as a citizen journalist, but you could go to a local San Diego school board meeting,
right?
You could video it, write a story, whatever you want to do, report on it. And we could publish that content, which, by the way, I just got one in York County, Pennsylvania, from a citizen journalist who was at the school board meeting yesterday, who videoed it and then talked about it when he was there, what happened. So it's really the citizens reporting back to the community.
Yes.
That's where it's all going.
Yeah, it's so powerful, Sam. General Flynn tells us over and over, local action equals national impact. Even when Trump is elected, you like how I said that? Even when President Donald J. Trump is elected, we still have got to take our power back on a local level. And it's going to be local, getting involved in the board of supervisors, your school boards, everything that you just said. So the fact that we can actually report on that and provide a space for that is a pretty big deal.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, everything and anything in the news happened locally somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So what we are is a platform that's hyper local, where we could publish news to a city, a county, a market, state, regional, or national. It doesn't matter. And ultimately, at the end of the day, what I envision is millions of people that set up accounts to become news reporters, just like they did on YouTube, right? And how many YouTube channels have you been to where it says the last posting was 4 years ago? It's because the cream always rises to the top.
Yes.
And the marketplace will decide what type of content they want. And those are the people that are going to make all the money. It'll be the same with us, but we figure there's 20,000 cities. So if we only had 5 people a city, and you know as well as I do, San Diego is going to take more than 5 people. So you're talking hundreds of thousands of content creators, if not millions of them, all over the United States. And we're very broad. And what I try and instill in people, because people say to me, well, we've got things like Bryan and Patriot TV, and we've got Frank's Speech, we've got The Hill, we've got Breitbart. The issue with those is they're not going to become the next mainstream media. Those are great for combating the mainstream media, but they're not going to be the next mainstream media. The next mainstream media is got to be broad in scope. Like, I can't go to Patriot TV or I can't go to Breitbart and find out about the York County School District that just happened yesterday, the meeting. I can't go and find out about my kid's Little League game in Boca Raton or the high school football game in Chicago. So it's got to be broad in scope. It's got to have millions of people that are participating in the news, which drive the audience, and millions of advertisers. That's where it's all headed.
We don't do it. If we, the people, don't take our power back on that local level, then you're going to have ABC, CNN, NBC, all those people coming in locally, not even giving you the real news. We know that it's tainted. We know that it's going to feed their narrative. So it's imperative that we're doing that. Let me ask you this, though. Sure. What protects you all? What protects your news from being hijacked?
You're talking about hijacked by the left?
Well, I mean hijacked from them coming in and taking down your system, right? So you've got this system set on the back end, right? So that we, the people, can come and bring real news. What protects your system from being shut down or tampered with?
We have redundancy in 3 different places. We even have our main servers not even in the United States of America. Boom. Okay, so and on top of it, backups in other places. So it's not likely. What they're going to want to go after me for is we're going to put out content. I think this becomes the next WikiLeaks. You want the truth? We could do it on a local level as well as a national level. Yeah. So most likely, this is going to. I'm certain there are a lot of whistleblowers out there that have not come forward simply because they're afraid to. Because when they take whatever they have, which is factual, to the mainstream media, somehow it doesn't get aired and they get arrested. Okay, and so what's going to happen is they could submit that stuff to us. We could have journalists review it, and if it's factual, we'll publish it all.
Yep, exactly what we did with Sean Taylor.
Exactly.
Right?
And
huge, guys.
We've completely bypassed the mainstream media. There was no need for them whatsoever. None.
And it reached millions and millions and millions and millions of people. And the coolest thing is that moved people into action. I mean, that story, if our listeners, Sam, haven't listened to that yet, they've got to go to @Real Kim Yeater, Yeater, and listen into Assistant Chief Sean Taylor exposing the mass corruption. Mark, we have a piece with Mark Fincham as well. We had that press release there. You've got to listen into that because there's more to that story coming out, Sam, in the days to come. You're going to see it on my platforms. You're going to see it on your news, the real news.
Yeah, I saw your interview with the police chief. You know, I watched it and I was just blown away at what he was saying. So, you know, it's a real story. It's amazing that the mainstream media is only trying to make him look like he's some kind of nut job. Yeah. That just blows me away. And then the feds come in and take all his stuff and you're scratching your head, go, well, aren't you supposed to come in and help?
Oh, yeah.
But that's not the agenda. So
Sam, all that, since we started today's show with human trafficking, do you know the evidence that he has ties into the human trafficking? That's why this story is so important. So this show today is really about equipping the people. So not only do we have an incredible, the Peace of Heaven project that is going to provide a safe space for those families that have been trafficked, the children that have been trafficked, those that want to help in that arena. But we also have a place where we can get your news, and I can get my stuff on a platform where I'm not going to be censored and taken down.
Right. That's what this is all about. And the funny thing is when I first started this, I didn't believe the media was fake. I didn't, my party used to tell me, oh, they're lying to you. Why would they lie? But when Trump got elected, that's when my eyes, because then it was just so blatantly in your face. They were just making stuff up and running with it that completely wasn't true. The best one was it was the Zelensky call. Remember when they said, oh, he's going to be impeached for this quid pro quo, and then Trump releases it, doesn't even say a word, just goes out there, and I listened to it and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be bad. And I'm like, that's it. This is what these people are telling everybody. So that's when I realized these people are absolutely worthless. Here's the good news. They're not going to be in existence. They're all going to be gone. I can assure your audience what will replace it is a product like mine. There is and we're the only people that do it. So there's no chance they survive. Simply, there's still a demand for news, and it has nothing to do with them lying. It's just the way people consume information that's changed. That's it. I mean, they could have been telling the truth, Kim, the whole time. They're still going out of business on the same day. It's irrelevant. It's like, when was the last time you said a telegraph? Well, you haven't. Want to know why? Somebody created one of these.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
There's always a product that replaces.
That's right. So, Sam, people can reach or access yournews.com. That's where they can access the current news. They can also upload there. And investors, if you're someone that wants to invest in this platform and keeping freedom alive, Sam, what's the best way for those investors to reach out to you?
If it does, you don't even have to be an investor. Okay. So with us, what our product does is it's putting the power of the press back in the hands of the people where it belongs. You do not want a George Soros to own something like this. Now, typically, when you do private placements, Kim, and we're doing a capital raise, we have something with mega scale. We've already proven the model out. The next step is to scale it and build it into an empire, a behemoth, as fast as possible. So when you're doing capital raises like this, and I'll give you a perfect example, in your area, Public Square started, right? Michael Seifert, okay? And then they moved to Palm Beach. Mm-hmm. Look it up. They did what they call a SPAC, which is a special purpose acquisition company. 38% of the SPAC's owned by Vanguard. All right. I mean, so I'm just telling you, this is how it works. So normally when you're doing a private placement, and I'm not doing a SPAC, I'm doing a private placement, you're going to go to institutional players and high net worth, basically 1% of the population. So those are the types of people you talk to. And I've been in that business for years. So I know a handful of private equity firms and investment firms that will make investments in this. The issue is you're now beholden to them.
That's
so what
right.
what we decided to do was something called an equity crowd fund. So it's not like a Give, Send, Go or GoFundMe. It is actual broker dealer, but you sell stock, but anybody can buy. And when I was and you've been there, the Reawaken America tours with General Flynn, right? And I look around at the thousands of people there. Those are the people that are proactive that really need to own this. So the beauty is with these type of platforms, you could anybody can make an investment. The company set the minimums. I set a minimum of $200 because we're selling stock at $2. So somebody could buy 100 shares and they could buy anywhere in between. But those are the people that I really want. I'd rather get 5,000 people on average to give me $1,000 on the $5 million raise we're given than one guy to give me a check for $5 million from some private equity firm.
I love it. And Sam Anthony, we're going to close up this segment. How can people reach you?
Well, you could send an email to sam@yournews.com. You could also go to our website, yournews.com, and at the top of the page, it'll say invest in your news, and you could click it. It'll take you to the brokerage firm that's handling it, where you could just do it on your own.
Perfect.
And if you need to talk to me, send me an email, sam@yournews.com.
Sam Anthony, thank you so much for blessing us today and for being a stand for truth. We just love you. We're going to have you back again. And guys, let's support yournews.com. Go there, get set up, and start listening in to the real news. Sam, we're going to talk to you in just a bit. And I want to thank all of my supporters today that made this show that really just brought this show out to the present. It's because of every single one of you freedom-loving patriots that donate to takeyourpowerbackshow.com, takeyourpowerbackshow.com, that keeps this platform alive. Between you and our sponsors, we are so grateful. So for today's show, we just had a wrap, and what a show that was. Our show today, Your News and the Peace of Heaven Project. Guys, the Peace of Heaven Project. You got the real news today. Go and support them. Let's protect the children. Let's do the work that God has called us to do. Let's not just talk about it. Let's go do it. Support the Peace of Heaven Project today. That's Peace of Heaven. Peace of Heaven. Hold on. I want to make sure I get that right. I believe that's peaceofheaven.life. Go and support that today, and then support yournews.com. We're going to put all the links down below so you can listen to this show. You can send it on out. I want to thank all of you for being with us today. You can find us on all podcast platforms, everything from Rumble to Twitter to Choose Social to Telegram. Go and share, subscribe, and most importantly, continue to work out your salvation with fear and trembling. Remember that he who began a good work in you will carry it out to the very end. And no matter what goes on, no matter what storm in life is going on, remember what the word says, to stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord, because your work of the Lord is not in vain. I love you. God bless you. God bless America. This is Kim Yeater from the Take Your Power Back Show signing out. We'll see you next time. God bless.
Thank you for joining us for the Take Your Power Back Show. As peak performance breakthrough coach, Kim Yeater speaks to other freedom-loving Americans that are making a positive impact in the world by standing in truth amid adversity. Listen in weekly and learn how to take your power back in your freedom, in your personal and professional life, in technology and creativity, and in your faith. Be encouraged, be inspired, be transformed as you step into your power and take action in your leadership and allow your voice to be heard. Together, let's take your power back. To sponsor and support the Take Your Power Back Show, go to takeyourpowerbackshow.com. That's takeyourpowerbackshow.com and take your